All right. So because networking is just really a requirement here. If you don't know the networking, that's just really difficult for you to understand all the things. So rather than going to the firewalls, so I will focusing on the firewalls, that what are the firewalls. But rather than going there, let's talk about the switch first. Okay. If you talk about the switches, then they take the decisions on the MAC address level, right? They take a decision, the MAC frame is coming to any of the ports, is looking on that VLAN, that whether I have to forward to X port, Y port, and then based on its MAC address table, it takes decision and forwards that frame to corresponding port. So that is the job of our switch. We went to next layer. This was basically the job of our layer 2. If we switch to layer 3, then we came to know about the routers. And if we talk about the routers, that is basically taking decisions based on the routing table. So IP addresses, that is taken care, and looks on the routing table, and then it's forward the packet wherever it was destined, right? The destination was there. It was like match looking up the destination MAC address, destination IP address or the network, and then it is forwarding that packet to that next hop. Then it comes to the firewall. I'm not going talking about the layer 4. This is basically firewall. So obviously whenever we are talking about restrictions, because here there was no restriction. I think some of the restrictions were introduced in the router, but we can say there was no restrictions in the forwarding, right? So then it came to the firewall, that here we can take a decision that whether I can allow a packet or deny it, right? So we are having any IP address. Let me take as 192.168.1.1, and it is sending a packet to any destination, let's suppose 10.1.1.1. Then if there is no restriction, then by default, the packet will be sent to this guy. But if we talk about the firewall, then what is happening? We are having a decision making capacity, that whether I allow it or deny it. No doubt, we are having a feature here that is an ACL. We call it as an access control list. We allow the packet, we define ACL in the routers, and then we take the decisions. But obviously, if you provide everything to the router, it is doing the routing, it is forwarding the packets, also controlling the packets that which should be allowed or not, it's like a decision making capacity, then the resources on this router is going to be very high, right? The resource consumption, and the result will be high CPU uses, high memory uses. So it was an idea that let the router do its routing, okay, and we will make a firewall to take the decision whether I have to allow any packet or not. Then we came to this level at the firewall, and the decision control was decided to the firewall. But it's still routers are capable enough, and they are still, some of the people are still using, because that is a capability. So there is no problem with that. So it's like we are requesting a packet. Now, if I want to allow this from 192.168.1.1 to 10.1, I can allow that one, right? So it's like from this source, this will be your source, and this will be that destination. Along with that, we are also having the capability to port numbers. Let's suppose this is the source and this is the destination. And if it wants to communicate over port 22, that is basically SSH port, right? Then do we allow that communication, that on port 22 can 192.168.1.1 communicate with 10.1.1 or not? It's like if you want to allow that to communication to other ports, that will be happening. It could be like you provided a communication to the 443, that is working fine, but not on the port number 22. Okay, so you can just give a rule here that please deny for port 22 remaining. I have no restriction. So now if this 192.168.1.1 want to SSH it to the 10.1.1, that will be denied. It will not be able to do it. Remaining for other ports, it will be able to do it. So it's like we are having a decision making capability based on the source IP address. Let me change the color. It means that it is having the source IP address that is in control. We are in the destination IP address that is in the control. We are having the destination port number that is on the control. So these are like firewalls that was capable enough. And I think the Cisco ASA was able to do that. Even our Cisco routers are able to do that. Any of the like 9000 series or any ASR series. So they are, even old series are also, they are capable enough to do that. There was no restrictions on that.
I have one doubt.
Yeah, please.
Actually, you tell that about for allowing and denying, we give the setting the rules. So, is it rule we set in ACL or in the routing table, where we set?
In the routers, or you're talking about the firewall?
In firewall, I'm just asking.
No. If you are in the firewall, then we were talking about the FortiGate policies, not on the like ACL type of things are not there in the firewalls.
So you were talking about a routing router or what? That's why I'm asking, because
No.
people know if like if you allow or deny that port, like if you allow giving the 443 port, so that rule should be in ACL or like in routing table, or are you asking about like in a firewall? I'm a bit confused that.
It can be done like in this stage. What I'm talking about, the
Yeah.
routers are also capable of that, and firewalls are also capable of that. So there's like both the things are possible. You can control it from the router, and if you want to control from the firewall, then also you can do it. It just depends. Like let's suppose you have a router here. After that one, you have a firewall here, and then you are having your destination. So this was your source, this was your destination, and anywhere you can put that restriction. You can put on the router here, or you can put on the firewall. So if anywhere you put the restrictions, they will not able to communicate. Means both are capable at this level. Whatever I'm talking about, source IP, destination port. So if you want to do on the router, you will use an ACL, and here you will use the firewall policy.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
I hope I cleared out.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So whatever in this level that both were capable enough, and whenever we talk about this, we say type of things because the like in the recent days, or the applications where too many of the applications were introduced, then what happened that these things were capable of the router and firewalls, like they were capable of. So then we said that these are the legacy firewalls. Why we said the legacy firewall? Because there were like too many requirements from the application layer. It was coming. It's like we wanted to block facebook.com. Then how can we block facebook.com? This with the source IP, destination port, it's not possible. If you block 443, it will block everything. So that was not feasible enough. If you block any of the user from the source IP on, then it like that user will be blocked for everything. So or in fact, you choose the destination IP address for the facebook.com. Some of the services might be required with that one, because Facebook is not only for this. There's a lot of things others are happening with the destination. So we want like only facebook.com should not be allowed. So that was not feasible with this one. So then we went to another thing, that was next generation firewall. So the difference between the legacy firewall and next generation firewall is that our legacy firewalls are capable to take the decisions based on these up to layer 4, like up to ports. They can take the decisions and they can allow or block. But our next generation firewall, they are capable enough to understand the traffic from the application layer. They are able to identify that you are accessing facebook.com. They are able to access, you are accessing any application. Let's suppose you are using LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn traffic will be identified that you are using that LinkedIn traffic. Or in fact, more in deep, let's suppose you are in the Facebook, there is a concept called as an app ID. Okay. So in the app ID, it's like inside the Facebook also there are multiple applications. You want to use that FB app, FB gaming, messaging, blogging, browsing. So sometimes there's a requirement that we want to allow the people to browse the Facebook. They can browse it. There's no problem with that. But I don't want to use them for messaging. They cannot use message to everybody. So we can block the FB message application. So these applications are basically like vendor specific. If you talk about the FortiGate, then they are having their own database of their apps. If you go for the Palo Alto, they have their own database of the app ID. And like Cisco also, because this is Cisco, it's like legacy ones, but they have just come as a firepower and other applications they are having. They are also like able to do the next generation capabilities are there, but some other products are there. So I hope you understand by this level that what basically the firewalls are and what they do in order to allow and block the traffic. If you have any question, just type in the chat. I will be happy to help you out.
No, sir, please go ahead. I don't have any.
That's great. So now let's focus upon the like what are the markets are available, what is available in the market. So in the firewall segment, let me go to the page that will like really help you to understand. That's like a research from the Gartner, because that's not like my own research. So if I go to here, that is Microsoft Edge, that's fine. And I want to show you the firewall leaders. Okay. So this is firewall leader, Gartner 2022 report. And if I go to Gartner website, so there's also like different criterias where they assess all of them. Okay. So let me go for the images. That will be the better one. Yeah. So this is the 2022. So if you see the segment, these are like things available in the market with the firewalls. So these are the market leaders currently: Fortinet, Palo Alto Networks, and Checkpoint Software Technology. So these three, like you can say, the capturing a lot of markets. Challengers, if you see, there's Cisco is in the competition, Alibaba Cloud, Juniper, Huawei. Okay, so these are also like trying to challenge these leaders. But niche players like these are like specific things are providing that what can be done in the firewall, but still they are like far behind. And these are just trying to do that. If I can, like, these are visionaries, so they can just think of that, okay, I'm trying to develop a firewall or produce in the market, but we are not sure that up to what they will be able to capture the market or able to provide the product which are required by the enterprises or the people. So any question in this part, basically the Gartner magic quadrant we say, or you have anything in the
one question. So the nice place, if you're referring, still that the AWS, the cloud performs and all, it's far behind for the legacy when we compare to the firewall perspective.
Your voice was not clear. Can you just speak
Okay.
clearly?
Yeah.
Or in the
Now it is
chat.
audible.
Yeah, it's
Now
audible
it is
clearly,
audible.
but I'm not able to understand.
Okay. Okay. So just want to ask you the cloud technologies, AWS, okay, those firewalls and all, okay. Still, it is like behind the leaders or like.
Yeah, no, like cloud, they are already there on the
Still,
cloud,
are they also?
but in the firewall segment, they are just trying to do it. Your name is like, what's your name? Just tell me.
Vijay.
So let me
Yeah.
mute other guys so they don't do not disturb.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's like for the AWS, like in the AWS, Amazon is just leader, like there's number one. But if they talk about the firewalls, because they are having like their own firewalls included in the web, so they are trying to do good on that, but still they are not in the very good on that one. But what people are still doing, let's suppose we taking the FortiGate or Palo Alto firewalls, they just install on the NSX, like on the cloud, we install these vendors because they are providing images as well. So those we install on the cloud and then we use them as a firewall. So it's like you can take a license from this Palo Alto, FortiGate, or Checkpoint, and then you install on the cloud. Another way, you directly take a firewall from the Amazon and that install that one.
Okay. Ready. Thank you, Raj.
Sir, I have one question. Most of we can give an example like Azure. So they are not using that Palo Alto FortiGate. They are using that own NVA, right?
Azure firewall you're talking about?
Like I'm talking about like Azure. If they people are using like any next generation fire like FortiGate Palo Alto, or they use their own firewall.
It just depends on the requirement that what you want to do.
Okay.
Like just give me 1 second. Okay? I think there's little confusion ongoing for the YouTube live. People are on the wrong link. Just give me a second. Sorry, guys. Actually, what happened that the scheduled link was something else, but as it was integrated with the Zoom, so it went on the another link. So people just waiting then sending message that it's still not live. Okay, all right. So that was about like firewall. That who is the leader, or I think someone was asking question, right? Let me answer that first.
Hello,
Yeah, please.
this is Vishal here. Sir, I wanted to know, do you have a YouTube channel at which if you uploaded any playlist, then I can follow the introduction on FortiGate?
Yes, I will just give you a link here. That like I have like some of the videos there. You can follow them. So let
And
me give
will
it
this
up.
be the session every Saturday? Are you gonna give us
I'm just trying to, yeah, I'm trying to plan for that.
mapping?
Like I'm planning for every Saturday, or it could be like Sunday morning. So there's two options. I'm just be on like consistent on that. That either it will be Sunday evening or sorry Saturday evening, or it will be Sunday morning at 10 a.m. IST. So I'm just trying to do that. Let's see how does it go.
Yes, sir. Please. Yeah.
At
Yeah,
least
let's
continue.
continue.
I mean, someone
Yeah,
was asking the question. Really sorry to interrupt that.
yeah, please. If anyone having that related the content, because these things we will talk at the end, so that will be really disturb all the guys.
Yes, sir. So I have question if you go talk about that cloud environment. So
Mhm.
like AWS and Azure. So they people
Mhm.
are using like this next generation firewall, or they have using their own firewall. So that
So
is my
that just that is just totally depends on your requirement. That let's suppose I'm a customer, like I'm like organization, so I will hire a guy. Let's suppose I have taken services from the Azure, right? So it's just totally how much I want to invest. So if you go for the like Azure, they already have that layer 4 capabilities. I think name it was like uh, something. Let me just tell you. As the something name is there, I don't remember the name. So that is having basically the capability of like layer 4 decisions that's already available. Okay, so inbound and outbound connections they can like deny or allow. So there's no extra charges for that one. But if you take a Azure firewall, that is capable of like all these features, URL filtering and app and all, that is quite costly. If you buy a service from Azure firewall, you're just like your whole money is gone on that. Rather than people prefer that take a firewall from the external of these FortiGate and Palo Alto, take image, install on the cloud, and filter like pass all your traffic through these firewalls, and then you decide that whether I will like use URL filtering and FID or not. So it's just totally like depends on the organization how much money they want to invest. They only want to restrict the traffic on the layer 3 and layer 4, or they want to do at the uh, application layer.
yeah.
So
Okay.
everything because money.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. So let me go to.
Hi Anuj, I have one question.
Mhm.
Hello.
Yeah,
Means
please go ahead.
at what extent the cloud we are using firewall on cloud? It's same
Uh,
like a physical firewall, or we have facing means challenges for cloud firewall.
for the like cloud, usually say because in the cloud, if you take like normal Azure or AWS VPCs, so let's suppose to talk about the Azure, and if you have like any VM like running there, right? So it's like you provided the internet connection, so it's going to the internet. If you do not put any firewall in between, everything is exposed to the internet. You are like huge risk if you're not using
Yeah.
any of the firewall there, and you are using any sensitive
No, no.
servers
I'm
there.
not. I'm not means asking about the Azure firewall. Simple,
Mhm.
just like the Fortinet firewall, we are installing on cloud. Okay. Then
Mhm.
how it will work on cloud? It's like same like a physical firewall,
Yeah, yeah,
or there's a
yeah.
different.
It's same. It's same. Everything is same. Just like you will access GUI, it will be the same. All
Okay.
capabilities. There's no difference in that.
Okay. There is no difference between cloud firewalls and these physical
No, no.
firewalls.
No, the cloud firewalls, there's two things. Just let me clear. If you're talking saying the cloud firewalls, it means that you are including the like the Azure firewall or AWS firewalls, right? They are also providing
Mhm.
their own firewalls, Azure and
Yeah.
this AWS. Their inbuilt firewalls are there inside. You take
Uh,
subscription or you pay for them, you use them. Another thing, like you take about the FortiGate or Palo Alto or Checkpoint or any other external vendor firewall, then you take image of them and then you
mhm.
install it over the cloud, and then you forward that traffic. So if you using that FortiGate image inside the cloud, it means that GUI will be same. There will like no difference It's like similar, you are using that for firewall on-prem or you are using the cloud. There's no difference in that, in the GUI. I hope that was the
We have to
question.
integrate. Yeah, only we have to integrate with the cloud.
Yeah,
Means
that's just
for
like if you are using
manage.
NSX or I'm not so expert in the cloud that how they install it. So usually, like let's suppose you are using NSX or anything on that any of the platform, you install that firewall and then you route your traffic. Let's suppose you're here, you have any VPC, and then from the VPC, rather than going to the internet directly, we will configure routing table. There's terminology routing table over there in the Azure. So we will configure the routing table and we route all the traffic through the firewall. Then it goes to the internet rather than it is directly going to enter. You now have all the controlling decision here, whether you allow or deny. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
So now let me just show you the GUI parts, that how it is. So for that, I'm using this EVNG lab. And here it is, basically. Let me increase the font size so that you can view it. Okay, so this is like an EVNG setup, and FortiGate firewall. This is set, and I will be accessing through my browser. So that's why I have used this as a net. If I want to use inside any Windows machine, I can configure there directly. So if I log on to here, and the IP address was, I think, 192.168.29.173. Yeah. So this is like a trial version I'm using. It's not a licensed firewall, but it's quite enough for the practice. There's nothing is required there. So that's how like the GUI looks like for the firewall, and whatever the rules and policies we are configuring, that we are configuring under this policies and objects. So this is like we talk about the firewall policies. We can create the new policies here and we are done. Okay. So rather than going there, let's just have a look on the dashboard first. So it's give you the system information, that what is available. Okay, let me choose blue. So hostname, it is talking about that FortiGate VM 64 KVM. So whenever I logged on, some of you might have observed that it was asking me to change this hostname, but I say that I will change it later. So this is like in the production environment, you can see a host name, something like with your organization name or firewall 123 or like ID, firewall ID like 253. So you are working like any of the network. So how the router ID we put it or the firewall ID. So it's just totally differ organization to organization, that how this nomenclature will be, and based on that we will put that name. And this is the serial number of our firewall. So I have just downloaded it from the FortiGate website, so you can also try to download. So you will get serial number according to that. And this is like firmware it is having. So currently version it is having, that is 7.0.4. So we can say that FortiOS, we call it as like which version it is using. Okay. Mode it is using NAT, so that's not too relevant. And this is quite relevant for the troubleshooting, that what is our system time and what is the uptime. So usually, because I have just started this one, not just started, I think around 2 hours before, 3 hours going to complete it. So yeah, actually just to give me 1 second, then I will allow you to ask a question. So it's like around 2 hours, then it is going up. So it's that really helpful when you're troubleshooting these things, because your firewall has restarted recently or something wrong went to your firewall. So this helps that when it was last restarted, and it helps to identify that has it been failover or not. Okay. And this is like VM virtual machine. If like this different hardware version, that will be showing here that what is that hardware type it is. Okay. And these are the licenses. So you can see that basically licenses, it will be showing here that you have these FortiCare support or not licenses, IPS feature. So if you don't have that like FortiCare support license, then you may not get attack support for your issues you are facing in your firewall. And these are like IPS, intrusion protection system, antivirus, and web filtering. These things can also be done with this firewall. Whatever the traffic is passing through it, it will inspect that traffic, whether any virus is there or not. Okay, so if there is a malware detection is there, it will block that traffic based on your rule, whatever the rule you have configured. So there's like different rules you can configure, like alert, allow, or alert or allow. Then you can also put it at deny, so that whatever the, if you any malware is identified, then it will be blocked immediately, and same time it will send an alert that that malware was found in any of the session. Okay, and this also shows you the allocated CPUs, how many it is having allocated RAM. So because I'm running on the lab, so I have just given one CPU and only 1 GB RAM. Okay, so it just depends, like when you are in the production environment, the scenarios could be like you are using 32 GB RAM here, you are having like 16
IT room का 008 हाँ 1
So if you're not speaking, please be on mute. Do not disturb others. Okay, and this is like security fabric. So we will come later on that what they are and why they are used it. And another thing that is the most important part, that is like CPU uses. What are the recent uses in the last 1 minute? If it is like going quite high, then you might be in the trouble. Or it is like you can change this filter from here, that after for how much time you want to see it. So for 12 hours or the like more hours. So I just started it before 2 hours. So only it is showing for that duration only, right? Not before that one. So if it is running on the production environment, you can just see the graph. It is like any of the time it is going high, then you can think of that why it is going high. You can check the sessions count or any suspicious behavior happening in the firewalls. Then you can look upon, or if you don't find anything, you can go to the tag as well, that why it happened. They will take logs and all, and they will just analyze it. Memory, the same thing, you can analyze it here, that what is the memory uses. Similarly, you can change on the filters and you can look upon. Sessions count is just really important, that how much sessions count it is running. So if your session count is going too high rather than your limitations of your firewall, usually this happens, that this session count goes high, and that results in the high memory and CPU uses. So just make these things that they are under control or within the limit, whatever your firewall is capable of, then there's no problem. So let me just give you a little brief that what happens to the policy. So I'm going to this EVNG lab, and here I'm putting it off. Okay, stopping it here, like power it off. This is required to change the topology in the EVNG. I can't do anything for that. And I'm creating, till now, any questions in this, whatever I have covered? I think somebody was having. You can type in the chat or you can speak, whatever you want. Yeah, Lakshmi was saying something. Please go ahead. Or you can type in chat as well. So I'm creating a topology here, and like 2 machines I have taken. And there, this will be your interfaces, right? So I'll be using this IP here, 192.172.16.1.1, and 1.2 I will be using at the interface of our FortiGate firewall. So like port 2 of the firewall and Ethernet 0 of our VPC here. And here I will use port 3 and Ethernet 0 of the VPCs. Okay. And let me start them so that they can come up properly. Meanwhile, I will label this. And here I'll be using another network, that is 172.2.1. So next thing comes like our network interfaces. All right. So if I go to the network and here at the network and the interfaces. So if you see that 4 interfaces there, okay. And I have just connected the VPCs from the on port 2 and on port 3. So I will configure these port 2 and port 3. Okay. So the port 2, edit, alias, I will give it to VPC1. Role I will put as a LAN here. And manual IP I'm going to configure as 172.16.1.1. Out. Think what IP I have given here, 1.2. Okay, so let me give it also 2 so that it's remain the symmetry. Like 2 on the firewalls and 1 on the VPC. Okay, and what are the services like admin access you want to allow on these? So I will not allow any of them, or let's allow ping. All right, so this is done. I click OK here. So this is done for the port 2. Let me do the same thing for the port 3. Two dot 2 and 255.255.255. I hope you are okay with this subnetting part. That's why I am giving these IP addresses. So 2.2 on port 3, that's fine. And let's allow ping here as well and give it to VPC2. Physical interfaces, so role, I can say this, let's say this is a WAN here over. And that's fine. Remaining everything, let's keep it as it is. So this is okay now. Our firewall is configured. And let's configure our VPCs. So, yeah.
Yeah, IP address is wrong.
Fine. Okay, that's great. 22.16.1.1/24. And default gateway, let me put it as 172.16.1.2. And now I go to our VPC, this one. 172.16.2.1/24, and the default gateway will be 172.16.2.2. So the IP address is configured on this. Now it's job. So if I try to ping it from this machine, 172.16.1.1, like this is 1.1, I'm trying to ping 2.1. Will it ping or it will not ping?
Not ping.
Not ping, okay. Why? Okay, so it will not ping. Yeah, it will like have the default policy that allow or deny. So if I go to this FortiGate firewall here, and let's check out the policies. So we are having a policy here, implicit one, and that says that implicit deny, that from all sources to all the destination, all services, the action is denied, that nothing can pass through our firewall. So this is like default policy on the FortiGate. It will not to allow to pass through. So I will create a policy. I will create the test policy. Incoming interface is port 2 and outgoing interface is port 3, BC2. Source, I will put it as, let's suppose all, from all sources, there's no restriction, and source to all. And action was accept this time, and services also I put it as an all, that all the services are allowed. Okay. And NAT, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do anything. These are the features which are available, but I don't want to use any of them as of now. And enable this policy, and I click it. Okay, here. So should I ping now? It's still unreachable. It's the same thing, right? Even if I allow, then still it's not working. I allowed everything to pass through my firewall. Then what could be? Now the question comes that, not question, in fact, or in fact, you should say the question that if, not if, in fact, let me just tell you that whenever we go to the firewall, it is capable of doing switching, routing, firewall policies, like policies, whatever we make. And these all three features can be, all three features are available on the firewall. So right now, we just allowed the policy to do it. Switching, we do not require. Usually, let's suppose you take any switch and you connect from here to here by default. They are on the default VLAN, and the communication will be passing through. The switching may not be required here, but still the routing part is missing here. We did not do any routing to pass through the traffic through the firewall, or we did it.
Routing is left.
Right. Routing is left, right? So that's why, yeah. So now we will go for the routing part. So like, let's suppose you have, sometimes I have also seen, like as that organization, what they do, like they order bulk firewalls, but their budget is not there to now, like, because if you go to buy a new router, they need another PO, and like another negotiation will be happening, the delivery will be happening, it will take 2 months to deliver a router, but they have like in the warehouse a firewall available. So what they do, they just take a firewall, they do not configure, or they configure allow all policy, and just make that firewall as a router. I have also seen in the organizations. So that thing can also be done with the firewall, but that's like wasting money, but people are doing that. So it means that your firewall is capable enough, like if you want to work your firewall as a router, that also you can do it. So let's go to the firewall, and now we will go to our routing part. So before that, I just want to know that do anyone is having any questions in this? Because
Can you check
I
the
want.
traffic?
So could you explain about VDOM? We create virtual firewall within one
No,
single
no.
firewall.
Currently, we don't have any VDOM on this one. Just like default one. That's it.
Okay, but we can do it, right?
Yeah. Obviously, you can create a VDOM. There's no problem with that.
And
So
if I create one VDOM and I can use that VDOM for routing as well, right? So
yes, so we'll use the default one. Like if we want, we can use the default one. So whoever doesn't know about the VDOM, so let me tell you that VDOM is VDOM is basically the partitioning of your firewall. Let's suppose you have the big firewall, not big, even if a small one, that one also you can do. But usually people to do it on the higher version firewall, higher configuration firewall. So what we do, we want to segregate the traffic from another to there. So like this is your use firewall, like you bought it, a FortiGate firewall. Okay. And now you want to partition that traffic, that communication or policies or the networking should not be shared with other services. So in that case, we divide this firewall virtually. So this can be said as a partitioning. Okay. So these are the virtual, and whatever the information is there, policies are there, routing information, that is not shared to each other. And each these partition, 1, 2, 3, 4, they will work as an individual firewall. So like if your firewall is configured with VDOM and you want to check anything, you will switch to VDOM first, and then you start checking remaining things. So let's suppose you log on to the firewall, and then if you are going in the wrong VDOM, you may not get the session or routing information available because your information might be going on the another VDOM. So this is like for the people who are like new to the firewalls. Okay. So this session I meant to be like 1 hour, but I'm still like running out of time. So I will stop here. I will not continue more. I will be connecting you all in the next week, most probably on the same time. Or if not, I will be meeting you on the Sunday, 10 a.m. So I hope till now you are quite okay with the whatever we have covered. Or if you have
One
any
doubt,
question.
sir.
Yeah, please.
One doubt. The traffic you have initiated, right? The firewall is dropping because of the route was not. So how we can check it in the FortiGate firewall? So whether it was the traffic comes up to the firewall and then it was dropped. How we can check it here?
That you mean that the traffic is
like Cisco ASA, it has it on ADSL, you can check it, right? The traffic flow, it shows entire map on which node how it is going from like if we are trying from one PC to another, it will show us like from which node it is going. Then our firewall will be there, then another node will be there. So entire traffic flow will show. So do we have this kind of traffic
was an
flow
option.
on? That's what it was, right? Whoever was asking the question.
Yep. The same question.
So like for the firewall policies, you will see that here there's nothing. So this is basically whatever shows here, that is like what is allowed or denied. So right now the traffic, which is like, let's suppose you initiated the traffic, the very first thing you see that the destination network unreachable. Now you start troubleshooting here that whether are you able to ping your next hop or not. Basically this one, right? Is it able to reach it or not? If you are getting reply, you have ping enabled on that one, then you get, okay, I'm able to reach up to this firewall. It means the traffic is reaching to the firewall. But now if the firewall is doing the routing or not, so for that one, you can check via CLI. The first thing that you are getting anything from that specific port or not. Another thing, you can go for the sniffer traffic. Okay, so that tells you that if in the more detail you want to get that whether your traffic is hitting your firewall, and then it is happening. It is either dropped via the routing, or it is policies, or it is still the NAT, or any URL filtering. That is, everything is captured on a sniffer one. Another part still we can do, we can like put the diagnose on the CLI of the firewall. Okay, and then you can diagnose the traffic that if you initiate, let's suppose ping, then what is happening is step by step, as someone was saying, or that is happening on the Cisco. The same thing that is happening, we can check on the CLI. That is step by step, packet received, routing has been done or not, policy is matching or not, is it doing NAT or not, has it been the packet forwarded to exit interface or not. That is still, all the things can be checked via packet diagnostics if you still face the issues. It just depends.
Okay, now
if you capture
as per the traffic, now as per the traffic, whether it is coming to the firewall or not. So if you can do that one more time thing, we can monitor the traffic here, right?
Yes, that we can do as CLI, the diagnostic of traffic. Yeah.
Okay.
Because on the firewall traffic, we
Okay.
only see the sessions only. That's it. That whatever the connections are passed or it is allowed or denied. We do not see anything here.
Details of the traffic. Yeah.
Sorry?
We can't see the details of the traffic here. No? We use
The
Wireshark
GUI,
or yeah.
Yes, sniffer is here, the option. You can go for the
Okay.
sniffer.
So now if you initiate the traffic, will that
so the sniffer will show us set all the details, right? Like if there is any
sniffer is like a pure
issue in
Wireshark.
any of the policies which you have configured, so it will show us
Correct.
in detail information like why is it getting dropped, what is which policy, due to which policy it is getting dropped. All the things will be shared, right? I'm just a newbie.
Correct.
I've just seen it in my organization a little bit. I said it on that basis. I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. So that's how it is.
I have one doubt. Hello. Yeah. So even now the default policy is there. Okay. So that's why the packet is receiving, correct? Still the routing is not enabled in that case. Because I saw your network, so the IP address you are.
Yeah, that's what I'm also referring. The same question I also referring. After putting the policy, so at least the traffic needs to come to firewall, right? So if the route was not there, then that needs to deny, right? I'm not sure whether I'm rushing the same thing.
For that one, we will go in the deep that how the packet flow is happening, that whether we are doing the routing first, whether we are doing the policy first, or we are doing NAT first. So because there are a lot of things like functions on the firewall. Because all three things are available. So which one is done first, that we have to understand first. Then only you can understand that why we are not seeing that one.
Yeah, got it.
Any other question? Or let me check on the YouTube.
Tomorrow the same session you will start from 10 o'clock. You have to means same session or you have to means go forward for this topic.
I don't think that we have no, not tomorrow. Tomorrow we don't have any session. If it will be on the next week.
Okay.
Plan is for only one session per week. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So I think the problem is that how you get connected. So I'm just thinking of, because a lot of people joined, and let me just create a WhatsApp group so that all the people be connected with that. Just give me a sec. Any other question meanwhile? If you have any questions, you can ask.
So what we want out? So we are using it EVNG only, right? Okay, EVNG only. So apart from any chance for the VM or ESX kind of environment, just I want to understand.
You can use that EVNG also. That is possible, but that is like sometimes you having is like bug and you are not able to understand that it is like problem of the like why it is not working. So that you can't exactly come to know. So it's better to switch to EVNG and like it's browser based, a little bit faster. So that's what I suggest to use this one. But other platforms are available. Like there's options are GNS3 once you can use. Another thing you can use EVNG that is being installed on your machine. Another thing you
also
can
ESXi also. VMware ESXi.
Yes. So another thing like people also preferring that you can go on the cloud. So like you can go on the cloud and okay, so I have just posted the invite for the group. Whoever wants to join, they can click on and join that. And like so let's suppose you AWS is providing your 1 year subscription, right? Like 1 year like trial period they are providing. They give some credit and something like that. So people used to, I have seen that people have installed that EVNG setup on their AWS cloud and then they are accessing from your browser. So if you do that one, like resources on your laptop are consumed less and it do not get overheated, right? So because if you do not have the lower end configuration on your laptop, then it may not work properly. So that's what it is happening. So any other questions related to this?
Sir, like if you are running ENG, if you are launching ENG, so you have directly install all the these images on the browser, right? Because you must have launched VMware on that ENG must be launched, and you must have used the IP and use that particular IP, and you went on the browser and access it, right? And then you install all the images which you had in the EVMG platform, correct?
That's right. So if you want to use that, how to install that EVNG. So I have
No, no, sir,
just
I have it,
ordered.
but I'm quite having trouble in EVMG, so I was using DNS3 instead of it.
Yeah, so that's what I think. Because of that, only you have this much of doubt. So this is like one video. Just save it because your chat might be gone once your session is over. So whatever the like chat WhatsApp chat link I have provided, if you have not joined, so the save it at least, or the link I have provided. This is a YouTube link, and that is for how to install EVNG on your machine. So that it will just guide step by step. That this I recorded, I think around 1 or 2 years before that when I did it, because I struggled a lot, and I think it take 2 or 3 days me to finish it up. So I just thought that really people will be having these issues, so I recorded it so that it will help you all. You can go through it. It's like a step by step. You just have to follow. I'm sure that you will be able to successfully install it. Just save this link before this ends. Okay.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Great. Anyone was speaking, I think, was having any question? And you can also just go to some of my recorded session if you want. You have free time. Else, like we will be meeting next week. That's like I'm just suspect because I will post that on the group. And not so. Meanwhile, if you have free time, you can go to the previously recorded videos that may help you. Let me post that as well. I think the playlist is not there, so I'm just giving you one of the video, and you can navigate to the other ones from there. If you have no more questions, then we can wind up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, all right, perfect. So we'll see you soon. Upcoming sessions. Okay, till that, bye bye.
Okay, so the session was really informative. I mean, quite easily explained it, and I
Yeah,
hope
that's
it's
true.
helping a lot. And because I've just started with firewall, And just in UB, it's been 2 or 3 years, so maybe it will help me a lot.
Really, thank you. That's great. Yeah.
Very informative. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so I'm closing this one. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you.